All right, let's talk about one of the most important and maybe most confusing numbers in your financial life, your credit score. We're going to do more than just understand it. We're going to become the architect of the score. You know that feeling? You check your score and it's gone up or down and you have absolutely no idea why. It can feel like this totally random number that just happens to you. Well, you're not alone in feeling that way. But here's the thing. It's not a mystery. It's not random at all. It's a blueprint. And just like any blueprint, once you know how to read it, you're in charge. You become the architect. You can build, you can repair, and you can design the exact financial profile you want. Okay, so let's get right into it. We're going to pull back the curtain and look at the exact formula lenders use to figure all this out. It's not magic, it's not a secret, it's just math. And really, it all comes down to 5 key things. Think of them as 5 levers. Once you understand these levers, you know exactly how to move your score up. And here it is. This is the blueprint for the FICO score, which is the one that most lenders actually use. Just look at this chart for a second. See how 2 of these factors just completely dominate everything else? Payment history at 35% and credit utilization at 30%? Add those up. That's 65% of your entire score. This is where the game is won or lost, right here. Let's start with the absolute foundation of your score, your payment history. It's the biggest piece of the pie by far. It all boils down to one simple question. Do you pay your bills on time every single time? Now get this. This is what's so wild. One single mistake, one payment that's reported 30 days late can tank a great score by as much as 100 points. 100. That could wipe out years of good financial habits. That's why setting up autopay, even if it's just for the minimum payment, is your absolute best friend. It's a safety net you can't afford to skip. Okay, on to the next heavyweight champion of your score, credit utilization. It sounds kind of technical, right? But it's really simple. It's just how much you currently owe on your cards divided by how much credit you have available. Lenders look at this to see how much you rely on borrowed money to live. And this right here is a pro-level move. You might hear people say to keep it under 30%, and that's okay. But the real architects, the people who want to maximize their score, they aim for under 10%. So if you have a $1,000 limit, you want less than $100 to actually show up on your statement at the end of the month. The keyword there is reported. You can spend more, just make sure you pay it down before your statement closes. This is the fastest way to see a jump in your score, period. All right, now for the other 3 factors. Think of these as the finishing touches. Credit age, that's 15%, is all about how long you've had credit. A longer history builds trust, which is why you almost never want to close your oldest credit card. Then there's credit mix at 10%. Lenders like to see that you can handle different kinds of debt, like a credit card and an auto loan. And finally, new credit, also 10%. This looks at how often you're applying for new stuff. Too many applications in a short time can look a little desperate. So, we know the formula now, but who's actually holding all this data and crunching the numbers? It's really, really important to know the difference between the companies that collect your info and the ones that create the score itself. So let's meet the data collectors. You've probably heard of them: Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion, the big 3. But here's the crucial thing to remember. These are not government agencies. They are private, for-profit companies. Their entire business is to build a file on you and then sell that information to lenders. Okay, now let's talk about the scores themselves, because they are not all created equal. You know that free score you get on your banking app or Credit Karma? That's almost always a VantageScore. It's a great tool for tracking your progress, but it is not the score that 90% of top lenders use when you apply for a mortgage or a car loan. They use a FICO score. And the numbers can be way different, so don't be surprised if the score the lender pulls is lower than the one you see on your app. All right, you ready to get into some real insider info? Beyond the big 3, there's a whole other layer of data companies out there, data brokers that most people have no idea even exist. So, after everything we've talked about, do you still think there are only 3 companies keeping a file on you? Yeah? Think again. Let me introduce you to the shadow bureaus. You've got LexisNexis, which keeps tabs on public records like bankruptcies and property records. There's check systems. Ever been denied for a checking account? That's them. And then you have others like Innovis and SageStream that lenders use to double-check information. They're all part of the ecosystem. And here is the power move. Here's what you can do with this knowledge. You can, and probably should, go freeze your reports at these smaller secondary bureaus. Why would you do that? Well, it puts up a firewall. If you ever have to dispute an error on your main credit reports, it makes it much harder for a creditor to verify that bad information using these other sources. It's an advanced tactic that puts you back in the driver's seat. Okay,
We've gone over a ton of information, but knowing this stuff is useless if you don't do anything with it. So I'm giving you your first mission, a simple plan you can get done in the next 48 hours to start taking back control. Here's your 48-hour plan. Step 1, get organized. Right now, make a folder on your computer, call it Master Credit Folder. Step 2, in that folder, save scans of your ID, your social security card, and a recent utility bill. You'll need these. Step 3, and this is the big one. Go to annualcreditreport.com. That is the only official free site, and download your full reports, not just the score, the entire PDF report from all 3 bureaus. And finally, step 4, just do a quick scan. Look for old addresses, misspelled names, jobs you never had. You'd be amazed what kind of errors pop up. This is your first step to building a solid foundation.
So there you have it. The system isn't a mystery anymore. The blueprint is in your hands. So the only question left is, are you ready to pick up the tools and start building?